Call the Finance Property Committee meeting to order, 5 p.m. Tuesday, September 6th, first floor conference room, City Hall. Should be noted all members are present. Run around the room and introduce yourselves, please.
Joe Boffin, Wisconsin Rapids City Times.
Greg Alderman. Mayor Zach Brewink.
I'm Jonathan Ennis from the Daily Tribune.
Christy Eggy, community resident.
Todd Trader, MSA.
Joe Eichstead, city engineer.
Cindy Schlichting, Finance Department.
Joseph Alderman.
Terry Dolan, Alderman. All right. Item number 2. Consider recommendation from Statewide Services to deny a claim from Caitlin Zableski for damages to her vehicle. I have a chance to look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can tell you a little bit about that. Basically, Caitlin filed a claim with us saying that a mower had chipped her windshield and things, but it was out of our area. It was way out by Janner's Bar. So it's not in the city limits, and we weren't doing any work for anyone else out there either. So, but we did decide we needed to go through the whole process.
Yeah, same like usual.
Yeah.
And that's Grand Rapids, and there's you're in between.
Yes.
So
So they weren't really sure who they were going to get a hold of. I talked to her insurance company as well as
I
her.
check in I talked to one of those.
Yeah, that's what I told her to do after I verified that we weren't doing any work for either of them.
I'd like to make a motion to deny the claim filed by Caitlin Zableski.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And item 3, review and consider approval of consultant proposals for the final design of the East Riverbank project.
Good evening. Got a few documents here that I handed out just before the meeting, so I apologize for the short notice. It's been a tight schedule to get the proposals back from the consultants. We've received 2 proposals, one from MSA Supermass and then one from Ayers and Associates. So tonight I think what I can present kind of what we got for proposals and what the proposal includes, and we can revisit a recommendation or a proposal to move forward until a future date if the committee wishes to do that. So first off, I'm not sure if we've presented something similar to this committee before. I'm not sure if
Last May, I believe.
So I can go through that and kind of summarize briefly kind of what we've included in the proposal, request for proposal that was sent out. First off, phase 1. So we've got 3 phases that were included in the proposal. Phase 1 being the trail connection from the Riverview Expressway up to Grand Avenue. And so that includes Demons Park, and then the trail along 3rd Street and Meade Street and the East River Conservancy. Phase 2, and I should mention that for phase 1, we've received stewardship funds for that portion of this multi-phase project. So we have about 640,000 or 670 somewhere in there for 50% match. So the state would be through that grant would be funding around 640. I don't have the exact number.
Yeah, 672 sounds right.
Okay.
Because that drove the first phase in terms of it when we originally presented the scoping or the proposed phasing to the council. We had used that first stewardship award as sort of our first scoping. I mean, there was a lot of eligible expenses within that first phase, but that's what drove that first budget number, or target number, I believe.
And then so the proposal is really for bringing the project to final design. And so for each of these phases, we've requested that we get proposals to do the final design for all 3 phases. For continuity and efficiencies with designing. the phase 2 would come in, is proposed for 2018, that would be Mead Rapids View Park. There'd be some improvements for stormwater drainage behind the river wall, along with some improvements to the sidewalk and activity areas in the park, along with any other landscaping that's needed or trail lighting. That park's pretty well furnished today, so it's on a much smaller scale than phase 1. And then phase 3 would be Veterans Memorial Park, which would include a balcony, stormwater drainage issues behind the wall, landscaping, and any other furnishings, for seating, sidewalk improvements, and railing. I should forget the railing for both Mead Rapids View and Veterans Park. So with that, the proposals that came in, 2 values. MSA Supermass was the firm that had worked on the preliminary design, and they've teamed up with MSA, which is a local firm that the city's worked with in the past on other projects. They have a proposal of $275,000 for consulting fees for final design, and Ayers and Associates came in at a base price of $253,380,000, and then had a couple optional items that would bring them up to $285,080. So looking at, both consultants came in rather close, and as a percentage of construction costs, they're within a typical range of percentage range that you would typically see in their costs. So nothing out of the ordinary there. One thing that we did ask for from the consultants after the original proposal was to have each of the phases broken out. So they're design fees by phase. And so each document or each consultant has that broken out, which kind of clarifies where the money is being spent to some degree, and which calendar year the construction dollars would be spent in. So.
Joe, you had 8 firms originally, is that?
Yeah, there were 8 firms that submitted for the preliminary design, and we sent requests out to each of the 8 firms, and there were three interested parties, 2 of which teamed up, and there were a couple others that had called and declined to submit a proposal just out of the magnitude of the project and their current schedule. So.
And Tim had an opinion about where the budgeted dollars would be allocated, because this would be a capital project. He had indicated that much similar to the way the pool situation will be designed, because you have about the same, probably 10% of construction costs or somewhere in that ballpark for design of the aquatic center. You're able to borrow against, or not borrow, you're able to create a reserve, a fund to be able to charge to, and then you pay for it out of bond proceeds. So when the city goes to ultimately bond for the aquatic center, much like if we bond for aspects of the construction dollars for the riverbank or riverfront project, it would be accomplished the same way, and I don't know if you've got any.
Yeah, that was the same information that I got from Tim, and thanks for bringing that up, because I had it written here, I just forgot to mention, it's not a budgeted item in 2016, but those funds could be advanced to start design this year for construction starting sometime in 2017.
And about 50%, at least 50% of the eligible expenditures that the DNR stewardship dollars are financing would be able to be utilized for design. So if they're non-eligible things, I don't know, things like restroom facility, I can't remember where some of those things fell classified in their classification, but those, the design dollars, which the proposals that you're looking at tonight would still be able to be charged as eligible expenses where it's appropriate for the DNR stewardship dollars. For the 50% match.
That's correct. And we did submit a second round of stewardship applications for phase 2 and 3. It hasn't been officially awarded, although there was some preliminary information that the city could get some funds for that, although it hasn't been published yet or officially noticed to the city that it has in fact been approved. So.
Some additional general comments about sort of the phase at which we're looking at now, I guess, for this. Obviously, you've got a time frame of which the DNR stewardship dollars need to be applied, of which this would comply with the first phase of award from the DNR stewardship funds. As far as prospective donors, many have inquired about the status or pace of which the city may approach implementation of the project. And so we can't implement anything until you've got construction docs and final designs created. So I know prospective donors that have inquired about possibilities to fund a certain aspect of the project through naming rights or whatever they may ask for an exchange of a contribution. It really makes the fund or donor solicitation that much easier to have final designs of the proposed implementation. So I would say that while we can use conceptual designs that have been created, they're conceptual at best, and we don't know feasibility. I know when we talk with local foundations and such, specifically they inquire about what aspects of the project are actually feasible. And until we do any permitting work, which you probably see in the proposal, that things like Army Corps and DNR waterway permitting, it's a heavy lifting project in terms of getting permitting approvals just to make sure that the DNR allows the construction. So, we're not going to seek dollars or support for something that we just don't know if it can be built or not. And this certainly will clarify those answers for us. I guess, personally, I'm pleased to see MSA partner with our conceptual design consultant, because I think, the city, I don't know, we have 3 or 4 projects with MSA on the table right now.
Yeah, we're doing some traffic work and some stormwater work.
Maybe more like 6 projects between the airport and some other things too. So, I mean, there's just a whole slew. So to have a firm that did the conceptual designs, but yet have a local firm that equally knows the players, knows the complexities, knows the environment in which they're working in, I think makes this a lot more predictable and a lot more, consistent project, I think, long-term in its development. So I think those were just a couple of general thoughts I've got about them. I know we spoke with Supermass on Friday just to hear their process of which they selected a local firm to partner with, and I think from our standpoint, it was encouraging to hear that there was sort of a general screening. It wasn't just let's find somebody that knows the market, but knows a lot more about the community. I think was a reassuring comment that they had shared.
Mayor,
Yes.
if I can interject one thing, my previous employer just went through a project quite the same as this, done in phases. It included the whole riverbank park area being redone and made into an awesome place for families, as well as a river walk that extended from one side of the waterway across and over to the other. It was done in 5 phases. MSA was also our contractor. It took probably 3 years. They just have finished the river walk on it, And it is a wonderful project. MSA was great to work with, and everything was so nicely tuned in and in harmony that it's a beautiful place, and they took care of every little issue. And I can't tell you one day that I went to work after that park was done and that riverbank was done that there wasn't somebody in there using it. It was awesome how they made it. It's a center point of the city right now.
That was the city of Austin.
And it's beautiful. The riverbank along the Lemon Wire River was absolutely never used before. And the park was so dirty and icky that it really didn't get used to its full potential, and they decided to build on the natural asset that they have. And the way it was coordinated, and I worked with all the different bonds for it and all of the different grants that we had, and it was unbelievable, but they were so helpful through that whole process.
I would second that. I was there yesterday. And very beautiful boat landing right there.
Yes.
You know, it is a very, and it was packed yesterday too. Very beautiful setting, and to me too, something that is needed here.
Yes. And they have the band shelter, I'm sure that you saw there with a unique design of that. That has not only been used for the community band, but churches have their services there. The Boston Choir comes there and sings, and people join in. They are also scheduling weddings there now. I mean, it's really being used.
Well, obviously, I'm all for the project. I guess I would like to maybe make a proposal. We can certainly let other folks talk, but I'd like to make a proposal that we get a chance to look at these and maybe definitely discuss before the next council meeting. I'm sure we can make a decision, but we'd like a little time. But I do appreciate the proposals. I know, did you guys do the Adams County Marina? Were you involved in that? Or?
We did that one. I did the Nakusa boat landing.
Yeah, they're both very fine projects. So, as a fisherman myself there.
And Buren,
We just
Yeah,
did
you
the
did.
Buren Park and Trail and South Buren Drive.
There's not an issue with like fiscal year, if we put this off till next finance property meeting?
no, in fact, we probably prefer that just to be able to kind of make sure that even from a staff level review, to make sure we've got our kind of full thorough review of the proposals, to make sure that things were included. And I mean, there's folks even at the DNR that we may want to just reach back out to and make sure we've got all the inclusions. Last thing we want to do is issue any change orders or things as we've started. So I just think, especially if we have another finance meeting before the next council, before September's council meeting, I think that's completely appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, we can certainly manage that.
Do we need to make a motion? I'll make a motion to do that. Have a special finance property meeting to discuss this.
Does anybody else want to talk on the subject? Okay, well, thanks.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, item 4, review and consider select,
We can almost reflect the minutes as no action taken, but I think with the intent to bring it up at the next finance meeting.
I think we, not that it has to be there, but we agreed that even if it was a separate item, we discussed it, and that's fine.
And I don't know if you, I know the folks, some of the folks in the room had presented to the Park and Rec Commission last week and encouraged you to take a look at that court. It wasn't recorded actually, was it? So we won't be able to take a look at it. I don't know, Stephen, did you want to maybe just talk a little bit
I can
about?
talk on it briefly unless you wanted to, Christie.
Yeah, and then I can add.
Okay,
I
yeah.
wasn't at the actual meeting, but helped clarify.
Well, I mean, you're part of the project as much as any of us were, so. Yeah, my name is Stephen Hittner, and I, Christy Rutter's husband, my sister Katrina Hittner, and I presented to the Park and Rec Committee, was it last week already? Time flies. About a proposal that we'd like to see move forward for a fitness park in Demetz Park specifically. And it looks like it's something that could fit into the current proposal for the parks. We ran the idea initially past the mayor and Adam Teagan on this idea. And I don't know, is there anything specific you want me to speak on regarding?
No, I think you posed the question of how does it fit Yeah, it's very complimentary, I think, in terms of the conceptual design, because we're at a phase now, where we would still include any improvements within the ultimate construction design or final design. So I think timing couldn't be better, if,
And I
the
think-
Park and Rec Commission was pretty pleased about the presentation.
Yeah, and the Park and Rec Committee, they kind of voted to acknowledge it, or I don't know if there's an approval officially, I don't know what the terminology was, but it was basically unanimous that they liked the proposal, and we got good feedback during the meeting. So another thing that we're pretty, we think is pretty realistic is that we can fund a lot of the project through donors. Basically, we're looking at different like workout stations, like a lot of body weight stuff, pull-up bars, sit-up stations, stuff that's kind of fixed fixtures. And we think we can, get different donors to donate for each station. So it's kind of an easy package to find donors for. It's obviously a fitness thing and something that's for, community health, which is an important asset for the community. My sister spoke to a neighboring business. We both own Family Natural Foods, and neighboring businesses, the lumber, I'm trying to remember, Metcalf Lumber. And she was talking to somebody there, and he's on the committee for donations from Aspirus, and he said this is a pretty no-brainer for Aspirus. So he thought this would be a really easy proposal for us to throw in there. He's going to give us some suggestions on the course of action to take there. So it's moving along, and it's great to see the support of the city on the project as well. So if you guys have any questions, you can let Christy or I know here.
Okay, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Joe's got her down, I think.
All right. Well, thanks again. Yeah,
It was a very good presentation. Yeah, well, I seen the minutes, so I didn't get to actually see
yeah,
it.
and there was a nice was it city? Is that what you guys call it?
That was House Rapid City Times.
City Times, yeah. In the buyer's guide there that
Yeah, it was nice.
was covered. So we appreciate that coverage of it too. We got a lot of local awareness. I've already had a few people come up and mention it to me, which is great. So yeah, let us know if there's anything we can help you guys with any of the park proposals or support of the park proposals or anything we can take forward from
Oh,
it.
great.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great to see.
Yeah.
Okay. Item 4, review and consider selecting a firm to perform surveying services for the west side assessor plat number 28 and the east side assessor plat number 61.
So we received two proposals, one from Badgerland Survey in the amount of $7,030, and another from MSA of $13,200 for the proposed work. We usually submit it to at least two firms, Badgerland and Lampert Lee. This year we submitted it to three local firms, including MSA. With that, staff would recommend Badgerland Survey in an amount of $7,030 for the work on these two assessor plats.
We have that in the budget, right?
Yep, it is budgeted.
That's Badgerland for what again?
$7,030.
$7,030?
Yep.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to go with Badgerland in the amount of $7,030.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5, beverage operator license applications. No issues.
As far as we know, there's not any issues. No, I don't have anything outstanding for any of the stairs or anything.
I'll make a motion to approve the beverage operator license applications as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 6, audit of the bills. Did you get a chance to look at them?
Yeah. You did? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the audit of the bills from numbers 64573 to 64898 and 99110 to 99128.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. 3 ayes and no nays. Item 7, motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 5:24 PM.
Need a motion to adjourn? Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Con, you got a half hour to prepare. We ought to go around here.
Ready to